Imagine being so terrifying that people are begging for their lives before you even lift a finger.
Our protagonist, Ujidi, is standing there with the ultimate I do not care energy while these prisoners cry about how cruel he is.
Jidi is not here to play therapist.
He drops the coldest truth bomb ever, telling them that because of their trash behavior, a woman was pushed to the edge and ended her own life.
Talk about a reality check. The prisoners are trying to act like victims, but Jidi is not buying the act.
He leans in close just to remind them that they brought this nightmare on themselves.
He is officially the CEO of No Mercy.
They try to scream that they did nothing wrong, but Jidi is already walking away.
He is done listening to the excuses of clowns. When he says it is over, it is over. This depressing scene is actually the grand finale of his 6th regression. Despite being a total beast, Jidi failed to stop the world from turning into a literal dumpster fire again. Giant dragons are casually snacking on cities in the background while the world burns. It is the ultimate game over screen, and Jidi is just standing there soaking in the failure.
Jidi is lost in thought, wondering if listening to that mysterious woman would have actually changed the ending.
Spoiler alert, he is pretty sure he is the only one who can carry this burden. He is facing down a massive red dragon that is literally breathing fire in his face, but our boy does not even blink. He is too tired for this dragon's main character energy. He whips out the formless sword, an SS rank skill that basically turns him into a walking cheat code.
He has realized that after 6 lives of pure hell, failure is his only real teacher.
Every loss and every scar has turned him into the ultimate weapon. He is diving headfirst into the chaos, looking like a total menace while the world collapses around him. The combat is absolutely insane. He is slicing through everything with blue energy trails, proving that even if the world is ending, he is going down as the strongest person on the planet. It is a dragon mosh pit out here. Red, blue, and green dragons are everywhere, but Jidi is just one-shotting them like he is playing a tutorial level. He is literally shredding these flying lizards.
Blood is spraying everywhere as he uses his energy blade to remind them why humans are the scariest things in the universe.
Even with dragons coming at him from every angle, his movements are flawless. He is a literal whirlwind of death, and these monsters are just cannon fodder at this point. After the massacre, Jidi stands alone in the ruins of a burning city.
He is exhausted, covered in soot, and probably wondering why he keeps signing up for this apocalypse gig. He realizes that no matter how many he kills, there is no end to them.
The system officially declares Earth a failure and triggers the apocalypse status. It is a total wipeout. But wait, he has a literal get-out-of-jail-free card. The Grand Clock, an EX rank authority, starts ticking backward. We are going back in time, baby. Jidi is caught in the golden light of the reset, looking completely unbothered. He is already planning his 7th attempt at saving this mess of a planet. The world rewinds, and the dragons disappear into the light. The system announces that the time of the world will begin again. 7th time is the charm, right? Suddenly, we are back in the 21st century. Random civilians are staring at creepy purple portals in the sky like they are watching a movie. Clearly, they have never read a manhwa before. One absolute legend decides to take a selfie with the monsters coming out of the gate. He is giving a thumbs up while a 3-eyed demon is literally inches from his head. Natural selection at its finest. Things go south fast.
The phone drops, and the screaming starts.
Monsters are pouring out of the gates globally, and humanity is officially on the menu. It is pure chaos. Knights in armor and flying beasts are invading the modern world. It looks like the end, but humanity finds a spark of hope. Enter the new Genesis era. Humanity starts fighting back with superpowers, and young hunters are being raised in an artificial floating island called Heitling. This place is the World Academy City, also known as Lair. It is basically the Ivy League for people who want to punch monsters in the face. Jidi appears behind the guy so fast it is like he teleported. The criminal is sweating bullets because he did not even sense Jidi coming. That is what happens when you mess with a regressor. The guy tries to attack, but Jidi is just moving in slow motion for him. He dodges the criminal's arm blade like it is a fly and prepares to end this man's whole career. GD casually informs the guy that he is a police officer. Then, he proceeds to deliver a heavy dose of justice straight to the criminal's face. The impact is so hard it literally creates a shockwave.
GD slammed him into the ground so deep that the pavement is crying.
This is what we call excessive force, and we love it.
GD realizes he almost forgot to hold back his "I can kill God" strength.
He stands over the unconscious criminal looking like a total snack, while everyone else is just in shock. It turns out GD is working as a cop at the Lair Metropolitan Police Station. His co-workers are staring at him like he just grew a second head because he actually did his job for once. His female co-worker is literally blushing because GD suddenly looks taller and way more handsome. That regression glow-up is hitting different this time around. His boss is complaining about him using too much force, but GD is just staring at everyone like they are NPCs. He has never bothered to show up for work in his previous lives, so these faces are all new. He drags the criminal away like a sack of trash, telling his co-workers to go back to their own business. He has got a much bigger mission than filling out paperwork. Here is the real tea: the reason he is regressing is because of baby dragons.
These hatchlings come to Earth from a world called Escalifa just to have a good time and collect happy memories.
But Earth is a toxic wasteland of human malice.
These poor baby dragons end up losing their minds or getting bullied by the war-torn reality of our world.
When these hatchlings suffer or end their own lives, their dragon parents go into a full-blown rage mode.
That is what triggers the apocalypse every single time. Humanity's bad vibes are literally ending the world. GD is already at max level and cannot get any stronger.
He realized that punching dragons does not work if they keep coming back, so he needs a new strategy for life number 7.
His co-worker tries to invite him to a new restaurant, acting all cute and hopeful. GD, being the ultimate ice king, shuts her down immediately. He does not have time for dinner dates when the world is at stake. She asks where he is going, and he just says Europe. He is done with the Academy City for now and is heading out to find the key to his new plan. We jump to Florence, Italy. It looks like a peaceful paradise compared to the monster-infested ruins we saw earlier. People are just jogging and living their best lives. GD finds a green-haired girl playing with some kids in a park. She is making flower crowns and looking like a literal angel. This is the one he has been looking for. He approaches her with that signature cold stare. She looks up, completely unaware that the strongest man in existence is standing right in front of her. The wind blows, flower petals fall, and it looks like a romance scene, but we know GD is only here for business. The girl is stunned by his sudden appearance. He looks her dead in the eye and tells her that she needs to come with him. No please, no thank you, just straight to the point. The 7th regression has officially begun, and things are about to get wild. Imagine meeting a girl in a park who has a built-in Google Translate for the entire universe. GD just bumped into a member of the Green Dragon clan, and she is rocking the collapsed Babel skill, meaning no language is too foreign for this mythical hottie. GD is standing there looking like a brooding main character while she plays it cool, asking why he is even looking for her. She is perceptive, but even she cannot guess what this guy is really planning. She tries to be a little comedian, pointing out that his name is literally written on his chest. It is you, GD, in case anyone missed the obvious. She admits she has zero clue what he actually does, but she can smell the main character energy from a mile away. This girl is no fool.
She realizes GD is ridiculously strong and totally out of place in this boring, mundane world.
She straight up asks if he is there to kill her or maybe throw her in a van for a quick kidnapping. GD shuts down the kidnapping theories, though he does not exactly give off warm and fuzzy vibes. He tells her he is here to protect her, but adds a spicy threat that he will get rough if she does not cooperate. Talk about a toxic bodyguard.
He knows the Green Dragon clan can see Providence, meaning she is smart enough to realize that resisting him is a one-way ticket to a bad time.
She decides to play along, but only if he promises to treat her like a guest and not some prisoner.
She is basically negotiating her survival with a smile, forcing GD to agree to be kind.
It is hilarious watching a world-ending threat make a pinky promise with a girl who just wants a bit of hospitality. Fast forward to the morning, and we see our dragon girl waking up in a modern apartment. She is looking for GD, but instead of the usual brooding guy, she finds something much more interesting in the living room. GD is just casually using an SS rank authority called Shadow of the Grand Duke. He summons a clone that looks exactly like him but with half the power. Why? Because even heroes hate the morning commute and he needs someone to go to work for him. The girl is beyond confused seeing two GDs, but he explains it is just a skill. The clone is off to the police station to play office worker while the real GD stays home to babysit his new dragon friend. Breakfast time is on the menu. Our girl explains that dragons do not eat because they are hungry, they do it for the vibes and the energy boost. Eating tasty food is basically a dragon soul cleansing ritual.
She realizes GD's kitchen is a literal wasteland with no food or tools, so she drags him out for a massive grocery run.
They hit up S-Mart, and suddenly everyone is staring because they look like a celebrity power couple. While the bystanders are busy simping, GD is just trying to survive the shopping trip. She buys enough ingredients to feed an army because she plans on turning his kitchen into a 5-star restaurant. GD tells her to leave the groceries and follow him because they have some shady business to attend to. She is still hyped from the shopping, but GD is focused on getting her the essentials for a life on Earth. They visit a local professional who looks like he has seen way too many back alleys. GD drops a casual death threat to make sure this guy crafts the perfect legal documents for his dragon companion. And just like that, she is no longer a nameless dragon. She gets a resident registration card under the name UBOM. She is officially GD's little sister in the eyes of the law, and she is obsessed with her new ID. GD explains that her name means spring, part of his master plan to name the 4 dragons after the 4 seasons. It is actually a pretty wholesome moment for a guy who usually looks like he wants to punch the sun.
BOM admits that her dragon instincts are screaming that GD is a dangerous monster, but she chooses to ignore them.
She looks him in the eye and tells him she thinks he is actually a good person.
The delusion is real. She claims her intuition is top tier because of her clan, but GD is just stunned.
In all his previous regressions, he has never seen a member of the Green Dragon clan smile like this.
The timeline is officially broken.
As the sun sets, BOM is all smiles, promising to cook him a legendary dinner.
GD watches her and thinks that maybe, just maybe, this start is not as bad as the previous failures.
We suddenly warp to a wasteland in Africa where the vibes are definitely not wholesome. Some bald guy is getting his face rearranged by a red-haired girl who clearly chose violence for breakfast. This red-haired psycho is a total battle junkie. She just secured her 199th consecutive win, and she is literally stepping on her opponents like they are trash. She is bored and looking for a real challenge. She pulls off her mask to reveal a face that says she is ready to burn the world down. She is hungry for her next victim, and something tells me GD's quiet life with BOM is about to get very loud, very fast. Back at home, our boy GD is watching the chaos and decides it is finally time to stop being a shut-in and make a move. Of course, his dramatic moment is immediately ruined by BOM, who announces dinner is ready like she is not about to serve him a plate of pure nightmares. GD walks into the kitchen and stares at the bowl like it just insulted his entire lineage. BOM is standing there looking all proud, completely oblivious to the fact that her cooking looks like it was summoned from the deepest pits of a dark fantasy dungeon.
Apparently, she went to the UK once and thought it was a great idea to stick sardines into rice like some cursed fusion of sushi and a crime scene.
Even the fish in the bowl looks like it is begging for a second death just to escape the taste of her culinary ambition.
GD realizes his soul is about to leave his body if he takes a bite, so he tries to change the subject by mentioning they are going to find the red dragon tomorrow.
BOM immediately kills the mood, warning him that red is a completely different breed and won't be as easy to bring home as she was. BOM drops some serious lore, telling GD that if he tries to use force on a red dragon, he is going to fail miserably.
For them, being forced into submission is a fate worse than death, so he better bring a better plan than just flexing his muscles.
GD reveals the stakes are higher than BOM's cooking standards because someone is actively hunting Red down. If they do not step in and play hero right now, the local battle maniac is going to end up as a trophy for some mysterious knight who looks like he walked out of a Dark Souls boss room.
She agrees to help, but because she is a low-key sadist, she has one condition.
She flashes him a smile that says, "I own you now," and tells him he has to finish every single bite of that sardine disaster before they leave.
GD looks at the purple glowing rice and realizes he just signed a contract with the devil.
He tries to put down his spoon like a coward, but BOM catches him immediately, proving that even a dragon can be a terrifying helicopter parent when it comes to dinner time. Our legendary warrior is officially defeated by a bowl of fish.
He sits there questioning every life choice that led him to this table while BOM watches him suffer with the purest, most terrifying smile you have ever seen.
Cut to Africa, where the Red Dragon Girl is busy turning terrorists into landscape decorations. She is basically a one-woman natural disaster, standing over a mountain of bodies and complaining that these guys are way too weak to give her a decent workout.
She just secured her 199th victory, and she is bored out of her mind.
Honestly, the level of disrespect is insane as she walks through the ruins, looking for anyone brave or stupid enough to actually challenge her. The elite SAN forces are hiding behind walls like they are playing a horror game, calling her a battle-crazed monster. Their boss is desperately hoping for backup to arrive, but before he can even finish his sentence, Red pops up behind them like a jump scare from a nightmare. She asks them what they are whispering about and the poor guys almost jump out of their skin. They try to react, but she is already swinging, telling them it is far too late to start playing soldier now that the real monster is in the room. One of them tries to blast her with a mana attack, but Red just slashes through it like she is cutting a birthday cake.
The sheer difference in power is staggering, and the soldiers realize they are not fighting a girl, they are fighting an act of God.
She is absolutely relentless, tearing through their defenses with a grin that would make a shark nervous.
Every time they think they have an opening, she just proves that their best efforts are basically nothing more than a minor annoyance to her. The soldiers are losing their minds as she effortlessly negates their attacks. They finally realize why she is called the Night Hunter, but understanding their doom doesn't make it any less terrifying as she prepares to finish them off.
Suddenly, a wild rank 8 superhuman appears. Meet Javier Karma, the heavy hitter from the African Union who actually looks like he might have a pulse. He tells his men to fall back with the wounded while he prepares to face the pint-sized disaster himself. Red is actually impressed for once, noticing that Javier's energy is no joke. She finally takes off that skull mask, revealing that she only wore it because people were too busy staring at her face to actually fight her properly. Imagine being so beautiful it breaks the game's combat mechanics. She laughs off the power gap, basically telling Javier that she would rather die in a glorious blaze of violence than surrender like a coward. She is the ultimate red flag, but you have to respect the commitment to the grind.
Javier realizes he is dealing with a total psycho and tries to get her to stand down, but she is already charging in.
Her weapon might be broken, but her spirit is basically a furnace of pure aggression, and she is ready to burn everything down. The clash is insane, with Red moving like a blur and Javier trying to keep up. She is loving every second of this, finally finding someone who does not crumble the moment she looks at them. It is a dance of death and she is the lead performer. She is constantly looking for an opening, moving with a feral intensity that catches Javier off guard. She is not just fighting him, she is testing him, trying to see if he is worthy of being her 200th victim. Then comes the most disrespectful move in history. Red spots an opening and goes for a literal dick punch. But Javier is a professional and has no reaction, probably because his armor is more expensive than the city they are standing in. Javier is actually disappointed, telling her it is a shame all that talent is being wasted on someone who has never fought anyone stronger than themselves. He is done playing games and decides it is time to show her what a real rank 8 can do. He pulls out his ultimate move, the Sword of RA, and the entire area starts glowing like a miniature sun.
Red realizes she messed up and tries to brace herself, but the sheer output of mana is unlike anything she has ever felt before.
The energy blast is massive, forcing Red to dump every bit of her strength into her arms just to keep from being vaporized. She is finally feeling the heat, and for the first time, she looks like she might actually lose. Javier is not holding back, pouring everything into the attack to end the threat once and for all. Red is struggling to hold on, her arms shaking as the ground beneath her starts to turn into a crater from the sheer pressure. She gets blasted back, slamming into the ruins with enough force to level a building. Javier is actually impressed she managed to block it at all, but he knows she is at her limit and prepares to increase his output to finish the job. Just as Javier is about to deliver the final blow, Red pulls a disappearing act.
He thinks she ran away, but in reality, Bomb has literally teleported onto the battlefield, covering Red's mouth and pulling her into the shadows like a pro kidnapper.
Red is fuming, asking BOM why she is interfering in her glorious deathmatch. BOM just gives her a look and tells her that the fun ends if she dies, so she needs to sit down and let the adults handle the situation before she gets herself erased. BOM starts healing Red's injuries with her green mana, ignoring the girl's protests.
She reminds her that her life does not just belong to her anymore, and that they all have a deal to stay on Earth and have some fun, which does not include being killed by a guy with a glowing sword.
Red asks how they are even supposed to get away from a monster like Javier, and BOM just smiles and says she didn't come alone.
She points toward the center of the battlefield where a certain someone is waiting to ruin Javier's entire career. Red is confused about who Bomb's guy is, but then she sees GD stepping out of the dust like he is the main character of a completely different genre. He looks bored, dangerous, and way too calm for someone standing in front of a rank 8 superhuman. Javier stares at GD, feeling a confusing and terrifying energy coming from him that makes zero sense. He asks GD who the hell he is, probably hoping this guy is just a lost tourist and not the end boss of his life story. GD just sighs and identifies himself as a chaperone. Imagine being a rank 8 legend and getting told you are being shut down by a guy who is basically there to babysit some dragons. The level of emotional damage is off the charts.
Meanwhile, in another part of the world, a mysterious blonde girl is sniffing the air like a bloodhound.
She catches a scent that smells like BOM but isn't quite her, and she looks way too excited about it.
She starts wondering who this new person is, her golden eyes glowing with a mix of curiosity and mischief.
It looks like GD's family of troublemaking dragons is about to get even bigger, and honestly, his house is going to need a lot more rice. Imagine being an elite investigator and finding a guy who claims he is just a chaperone for a girl who literally just leveled a city block. GD is out here giving off major I am just the babysitter vibes while looking like a final boss, and Javier Karma is absolutely not buying the cap. GD tries to play the diplomat, pointing out that the spicy red dragon hasn't actually caught a murder charge yet, so maybe everyone should just go home and grab a snack. But Javier is a typical government simp for jurisdiction and decides that playing hero is more important than his own survival. Local investigator discovers that being an S-rank superhuman doesn't mean you are safe from a reality check.
Javier gets triggered, screams about his authority, and activates the Sword of RA, which is basically a giant glowstick fueled by his own ego.
The screen is basically blinded by Javier's ultimate technique, and he really thinks he is doing something here.
He is putting his whole soul into this attack, hoping to vaporize the man who is clearly out of his league, but spoilers, it is not going to work out for him. In the middle of all that fire and light, GD just decides to turn off Javier's relevance. He vanishes and pulls the classic nothing personal kid move, reappearing right behind the investigator before the poor guy can even finish his sentence.
Javier realizes he is in deep trouble when his high-rank senses tell him there is a monster breathing down his neck.
The Sword of Ra is still out here looking pretty, but the man holding it is currently shaking in his boots as Jatai prepares to drop a truth bomb.
GD tells him to listen quietly, and this is where the psychological trauma begins. He starts describing a future where Javier is a literal vegetable, losing his limbs and his eyes to a monster he wasn't fast enough to stop. It is cold, it is savage, and it is absolutely terrifying. The mental assault is so intense that Javier is basically experiencing his own death in real time. GD isn't even touching him yet, but he is already dismantling the man's sanity, promising him a life of darkness and regret if he keeps trying to play the hero. Physical wounds? Those are easy to heal in this world.
But GD is an expert at imprinting primal fear that no doctor can fix.
He decides to wipe Javier's memory of the conversation, but leaves the soul-crushing terror behind as a little souvenir for his arrogance.
The red dragon is watching all of this with her jaw on the floor, realizing that the guy she thought was a weak human is actually a nightmare in human skin.
GD turns to her and offers a deal: live in his house, get protection, and have whatever she wants, as long as she obeys the king. BOM, our resident green dragon, has to step in and play the big sister role because Red is currently having a mental breakdown. GD officially rebrands her as Yuyorium, named after the summer season, which is honestly too cute for a girl who was just trying to burn everything down. Plot twist of the century. The GD we just saw bullying an S-rank investigator was actually just a clone this whole time. The real GD is currently on a jungle safari in the Amazon, proving that he can ruin your life and go on vacation at the same exact time. While his clone is babysitting dragons in the city, the real GD is tracking down the next sister.
He is sitting in the rainforest like it is a local park, while the gold dragon is lurking nearby, wondering why this weird human is talking to himself and his smartwatch.
We get a flashback to the gold dragon's past lives, where she was basically a superstar idol who lived for the applause. She was the center of attention, but as we all know, fame in the dragon world usually ends with a lot of fire and a lot of dead fans.
Being loved by many is glamorous until you realize that humans are actually obsessed weirdos.
Goldie chose isolation in the jungle because beasts and bugs are way less creepy than fanboys who follow you home. She is currently obsessed with human tech, which is basically her only hobby left. GD calls her out for hiding, and she is shocked that he knows she is a dragon.
She tries to act tough, but she is basically just a blonde girl in a white dress who is lonely as hell.
When he mentions he knows the green dragon, she starts sniffing him like a confused puppy. Goldie admits that humans are scary, not because they are strong, but because they are persistent and have zero boundaries. She is tired of the weird looks and the stalkers, which is why she is living in the middle of nowhere like a survivalist. GD asks the most important question: does she like bread? She tries to maintain her dragon dignity, claiming she doesn't need to eat, but GD just snaps his fingers and opens a portal to a literal carb-filled subdimension. The smell of fresh pastries is the ultimate dragon repellent. Or in this case, dragon bait. He pulls out a bag filled with donuts and blueberry egg tarts, and Goldie's "I am a majestic creature" act evaporates faster than a drop of water on a hot stove. GD tells her to stop being a jungle hermit and come live with her sisters where it is safe and, more importantly, where there is unlimited dessert. She tries to remember what her mom said about following strangers, but her stomach is making the executive decisions now. Welcome back to the concrete jungle where dragons are the new neighbors. We start with a beautiful view of the city, but don't let the scenery fool you, because things are about to get chaotic. Meet our resident red-haired menace, Yorium. She is chilling on the balcony looking like she is done with life, and honestly, standing there with a cigarette in her mouth is such a mood. Suddenly, we get a glimpse of some serious trauma.
A hooded figure and a terrifying glare from GD make her realize she is in deep trouble.
Her only internal response? A very relatable fuck. While Red is busy having an existential crisis, BOM is watching her from the shadows. She looks innocent, but in these stories, the quiet ones are always the ones you need to watch out for. Enter the gold dragon, Gull, who is basically a walking stomach. She is following GD home because he has the good snacks, and she is currently obsessed with the sausage rolls from this world. She takes one bite of a macaron and basically sees God. She claims this crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside magic is way better than anything back in her home world of Escalifa. BOM welcomes them back with that fake nice energy we all love to hate. She immediately starts complimenting Gull on how pretty she has gotten, and you can practically feel the awkwardness in the air. Gull is a total softie and goes in for the big sister hug.
She is shocked to find out BOM is already living here with GD, probably wondering what kind of harem situation she just walked into.
Red finally decides to join the party, looking absolutely miserable. GD just gives her the cold shoulder, and you can tell these two are going to be a match made in hell. Gull immediately starts nagging Red about her smoking habit. She is out here giving a health lecture to a literal dragon, telling her that red dragons always do things that are bad for them. Red has zero patience for this little chicklet. She grabs Gul by the face and threatens to rip her beak out if she doesn't shut up. Talk about a warm sisterly welcome, right? The group sits down to talk ages, and it is hilarious. BOM claims she is 20, Gul says she is 10, and Red is sitting there looking like she is ready to fight anyone who calls her a kid.
Red reveals she is actually 16 and reminds everyone that dragons grow way faster than humans.
She flexes her cool adult vibes while Gul just tries to look impressive in the background. GD decides it is time for some official branding. He reveals that Yoriam is the name he gave Red, and BOM is already rocking her seasonal name like a pro.
Gul realizes the pattern and decides she wants in on the naming scheme.
GD confirms her name will be Yugul, representing fall, because apparently, they are a seasonal idol group now. GD points to the blue dragon egg and says its name will be Jul, the winter season. He warns them that it is a polymorph and they need to be careful because the birth is coming soon. Now for the fun part, the rules. GD puts his foot down and tells them they have to stay within the fence of his supervision. No sneaking out and no secrets allowed in this house. Red is not a fan of this total surveillance. She straight up asks GD if he is a commie for wanting to control everything they do.
The look on their faces is priceless as they realize GD isn't joking.
To get them integrated into society, GD decides they need a shopping trip. They need legal IDs and actual supplies if they are going to live as humans without getting arrested immediately. GD hands over his card and tells them to spend as much as they want. Big mistake. Huge.
Gul is practically sparkling with greed, and Red is already thinking about what she can buy.
These girls take unlimited literally. We see a montage of bank transactions that would make a billionaire sweat. They finally hit the credit limit after spending over $41,000. They come home with a literal mountain of boxes. Gul feels a tiny bit bad about the credit limit, but mostly she is just excited to show off her new wardrobe to Mr. GD. Gul goes into full fashion show mode. She is trying on everything from hipster glasses to schoolgirl skirts, looking like she just raided an entire mall in one afternoon. She even bought a matching outfit for GD, which is actually kind of sweet.
He gives her a rare compliment, and she is so happy she looks like she might actually explode into glitter.
Red didn't just buy clothes, she went for the heavy metal. She reveals a brand new sword to replace her old one. GD actually admits she picked a decent weapon, which is high praise from him. BOM, on the other hand, didn't spend thousands on vanity. She bought a single potted plant. GD is confused, but BOM seems to find peace in the most random things. She explains that watching the plant flower will create a memorable experience. The way she looks at that little plant is actually kind of creepy, like she is planning something deep.
BOM keeps talking about things lasting forever with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes.
She is definitely the final boss of this household, and GD knows he has his hands full.
The girls realize that just eating and drinking isn't enough entertainment for their long lives.
They ask GD if there is a way to get the full human experience while staying under his thumb. GD has the perfect solution for 3 chaotic dragons, misery. He pulls out entrance applications for Lair Academy City. That is right, girls, you are going to school. Good luck surviving that. The Dragon Sisters are back from their interviews, and the energy is already chaotic. Gul looks like she is about to have a literal heart attack because the interview took way longer than expected. Our resident Gul Dragon is spiraling into a pit of anxiety, convinced that while the others passed, she is going to be the only failure left behind. Honestly, her worst-case scenario imagination is on another level, and the Red Dragon is already sick of her drama. Enter GD, the man of the house, looking as unbothered as ever.
Gul immediately launches herself at him, crying like she just survived a war.
He just pats her head and tells her to chill because there is no way she failed.
To stop the waterworks, GD reveals he brought home a mystery gift. The smell alone has Gul drooling, and she is already guessing it is bread or macarons. But nope, GD has something even better planned for these hungry lizards. GD decides to go full theater kid and starts acting out a dinner show scene. He introduces Gul as if she is some world-famous pop star named Baby Yellow. It is incredibly cringy, but hey, it works to distract the anxious mess. The host jokes about her living on morning dew, but our girl is ready to feast. The big reveal is finally here, 2 boxes of glorious, steaming fried chicken. It is a simple human dish, but to these dragons, it is like looking at a mountain of gold. Even the rebellious Yoriam is struggling to keep her cool. She tries to act like it is just fried bird, but her eyes are practically popping out of her head. The aroma is doing numbers on her pride, and she is seconds away from folding. BOM tries to be the sweet one and invites GD to eat with them, blushing like a total anime trope. But RMC has zero time for domestic bliss right now because his watch starts buzzing with an important call. It is the Lair admissions office calling. They are not just calling to say hi, they have some spicy news about the interviews. Apparently, there was a slight issue, and by issue, they mean one of the girls was too good. Turns out, UBOM did not just pass, she got a perfect score. The instructors were basically worshipping the ground she walked on. She is so talented it is actually making the human staff feel insecure, which is peak dragon energy. The school was so thirsty for her talent that they offered her the lead role in the entrance ceremony. The catch? She straight up said no. The admissions officer is begging GD to convince her, but he is not about that stage dad life. GD shut them down instantly. If BOM does not want to do it, she is not doing it. End of story. He hangs up and heads to the balcony, where Yoriam is lurking in the shadows like a moody teenager. Yoriam starts roasting the seasonal names GD gave them, calling the whole thing a cringy game of house. She is tired of the mystery and wants to know why he is so obsessed with sending them to this elite academy. GD keeps it simple, he is sending them there to get what they want. For Yoriam, that means a good fight. She is skeptical, though.
She thinks everyone at Lair is just a weak kid, and she is itching for someone on her level.
She turns the heat up and challenges GD directly. She wants him to fight her properly to prove he is actually strong enough to keep her under control.
The tension is thick enough to cut with a sword, and her red eyes are glowing with bloodlust.
She is flexing her power, looking for any sign of weakness in him. She knows he is strong, but she wants to see the full extent of the monster hiding behind that tired face. This girl is a total battle junkie, and I am here for it. GD just gives her the cold shoulder and tells her to go inside and eat her chicken. It is a total power move that leaves her fuming. She calls him a goddamn bore, but we all know who is really in charge here. One bite of that crispy chicken and Yoriam's anger completely evaporates. She is instantly won over by the flavor, proving that the way to a dragon's heart is definitely through their stomach. So much for that dramatic fight challenge. Now we get a look at Lair Academy itself. It is a massive, high-tech institution on the island of Abundance. This place is basically the Harvard for superhumans, training kids with insane blessings and abilities to become the world's next big heroes. But do not let the shiny exterior fool you. This place is a hotbed for elitism and hierarchy. It is filled with the spoiled children of CEOs and royal families. If you are not a genius or a noble, you are basically dirt under their expensive boots. Gul and BOM are already rocking their new uniforms, and they look adorable. Gul is convinced GD must be some secret billionaire's kid because of how much money he dropped to get them in. I mean, he does have that mysterious sugar daddy vibe.
The relief of being accepted is hitting them hard. They are just happy to be staying together, but there is one person missing from the fashion show.
Yoriam had to go to the Blue Dragon School for her practical exams, and GD went with her. GD is acting as her chaperone, which is basically a fancy word for babysitter. Lair requires adults to supervise these immature superhumans so they do not accidentally level a building when they get cranky. And let us be real, Yoriam is a walking disaster. BOM explains that Yoriam's test involves dueling other cadets. Gul is hyped to go watch the carnage, but apparently, it is a closed-door event. No fans allowed, which is a total bummer for our little gold dragon.
The other students are already whispering about the new girls, wondering which noble house they belong to.
They are attracting attention just by existing. These dragons are about to turn the social hierarchy of this school upside down. Over at the Blue Dragon Arena, the fighting is already intense. Cadets are swinging wooden swords and slamming each other into the ground. It is a brutal display of skill, but compared to what our dragons can do, it is basically a playground scuffle. Enter head Professor Yuan. He's got long silver hair and that classic I am too polite to be a good guy energy.
He introduces himself with a smile that definitely does not reach his eyes.
Total red flag, if you ask me. The crowd is simping for him because he is a rich war hero, but GD just stares him down. The announcer calls for numbers 124 and 7 to enter the ring. It is finally time for the main event, and the atmosphere is electric. Yuriam steps into the cage, looking like she would rather be anywhere else. Her opponent is a blonde girl who looks serious, but Yuriam is already gripping her sword with a terrifying intensity. She is bored and looking for any reason not to just walk away. She warns her opponent that this better be interesting, or she is out of here. The look in her eyes says she is ready to end this in 5 seconds. These poor human students have no idea the absolute monster they just let into the arena. Our girl Yuriam is officially over it. She is out here looking for a good time, and if this duel is anything less than peak entertainment, she is packing her bags and running away from home. Talk about dramatic. The crowd is already buzzing, and the betting pool is getting spicy. Most of these simps are putting their money on Sofia Borkova because she has that prestigious aura, while others are just picking based on who is more their type. Idiots. But hold up, Sofia is not just some pretty face. She is a graduate of RIL, and if you know anything about Russian hunters, you know they do not play around. We are talking about Russia's elite task force that basically carried the Great War on their backs. Their training methods? Closer to literal torture than actual practice. These guys are built different and covered in scars to prove it.
Back in the arena, Sofia's dad, Mikhailov, is losing his absolute mind with anxiety.
He is screaming like a soccer mom at a middle school game, and Sofia is visibly dying of embarrassment.
Honestly, same.
Yuriam smells blood in the water and starts the psychological warfare immediately.
She tells Sofia to just surrender and run back to her daddy, calling her a spoiled little papa's girl. The disrespect is legendary. That taunt hit exactly where it hurt. Sofia's face goes full psycho as she warns the redhead to shut her mouth before she ends up in a casket. This went from a duel to a grudge match real quick. The referee calls numbers 124 and 7 to their positions. Both girls lock eyes, and you can practically feel the killing intent vibrating through the screen.
This is about to be a bloodbath.
The buzzer sounds and we are live. Sofia is not wasting a single second, lunging forward with speed that would make a cheetah look like a turtle.
She is out for blood.
Sofia manages to close the gap and throw a strike that actually grazes our MC.
She mocks Yuriam's speed, thinking she has the upper hand, but she just made the biggest mistake of her life.
Yuriam looks down at her ruined clothes and her soul basically leaves her body. She just bought those. Sofia did not just attack her, she attacked her fashion sense, and that is a war crime. The vibe shifts instantly. Yuriam decides that the playtime is officially over.
She starts moving so fast the camera can barely keep up, and Sofia's smug little smile starts to fade.
It is an absolute masterclass in overwhelming power. Yuriam is dodging everything Sofia throws like she is reading the script ahead of time. Sofia is swinging at ghosts at this point. Our redhead is literally flying through the air, looking like a literal demon of war. She is finding every opening and exploiting it with zero mercy. Sofia's elite training is looking like a joke right now. One massive impact later, and Sofia is sent crashing into the dirt. The sheer force behind Yuriam's strike is enough to make the entire stadium shake. Talk about a reality check.
Sofia is gasping for air, her body finally realizing that it just got hit by a freight train.
Yuriam is standing over her, looking completely bored.
She asks if Sofia really thought she was winning just because Yuriam was playing along.
Another brutal exchange and Sofia is basically a ragdoll. Yuriam is calling her an idiot while delivering a beatdown that is honestly hard to watch. This is not a fight, it is a public execution. The final blow connects with a sickening crunch. Sofia is folded like a lawn chair, and the arena goes dead silent. The elite hunter from Russia just got absolutely humbled by a girl who is mad about her laundry.
Sophia is coughing up blood on the floor, looking like she is about to meet her ancestors.
The referee has seen enough and officially declares the duel over. Our girl Uriam is the winner, obviously. Uriam stands there looking fresh as a daisy, while Sophia is a broken mess. She mocks the idea of these people being called elites, calling the victory way too easy. The salt in the wound is real.
The spectators are losing their minds.
They are looking at Uriam like she is a monster because she did not sustain a single scratch. Meanwhile, Sophia's reputation is going down the drain in real time. The crowd is so fickle. Now they are whispering that Sophia was always weak and probably only got into RIL because of her looks. Man, the internet and these crowds are ruthless. Medical staff rush in to help the fallen blonde. The diagnosis? Both of her arms are fractured. Uriam basically snapped her like a twig in a matter of seconds. Sophia is trying to act tough, claiming she is fine and not done yet, but her body is literally refusing to move. Her dad tries to comfort her, telling her she did her best, but she is not hearing any of it. Mikhailov tries to give her the "loss makes you stronger" speech, but Sophia's pride is in a billion pieces. She can still hear the crowd mocking her, calling her a failure and a fraud.
Her mind starts to spiral into a dark place.
The humiliation is too much to bear. As her dad turns away to talk to the nurse, Sophia's eyes go completely blank. She has officially snapped. She starts mumbling to herself, refusing to accept the defeat. She claims she never surrendered and was just pushed back a bit. The cope is reaching dangerous levels of delusion. Suddenly, Sophia lunges forward with a hidden blade. She is going for a sneak attack on Uriam's back, fueled by pure, unadulterated salt. This girl is a total red flag.
She screams for Uriam to die, her face twisted in a murderous rage.
She is throwing away her honor and her career just for a chance to kill the girl who embarrassed her. Will Uriam react in time, or is this the end of the fashionista? Stay tuned.
The crowd is losing its collective mind because they just witnessed a girl get turned into a human mop.
While everyone else is screaming in shock, our main man Jidi is just sitting there with the most unimpressed face you have ever seen.
The fight between Uriam and Sophia is reaching a peak of pure pettiness. Sophia, who clearly did not get the memo that our girl is built different, decides to pull out a literal knife like a common street thug. Imagine being so bad at fighting that you have to bring a dagger to a school interview.
Uriam is bleeding, but instead of crying, she has that "I am about to end this girl's whole career" look in her eyes.
Sophia thinks she is winning until Uriam grabs her hair like she is snatching a wig at a clearance sale. The blonde brat realizes she messed up big time when she hears the words, "You are dead," whispered in her ear.
It is time for a lesson in catching these hands. Uriam starts delivering a series of punches so fast and heavy that Sophia's dental insurance is probably crying for help right now.
The spectators are literally begging someone to stop her because this is not a spar anymore, it is a live-action demolition. Uriam is just venting all that internal trauma on Sophia's face, and honestly, we kind of get it. Sophia is down for the count, looking like she went through a blender, but Uriam is not satisfied. She wants to give the girl a taste of her own medicine by returning that stabbing favor. Just as things are about to get R-rated, a massive wall of muscle named Mikhailov jumps in to stop the carnage. He grabs our fiery redhead, but he is lucky he still has his hands attached after touching her. The mages finally decide to do their jobs and cast an overlap space magic barrier.
It is basically a timeout corner for superhumans, so they stop painting the walls with each other's blood.
Magic circles start glowing everywhere as the interview gets paused.
The instructors are scrambling because they realize letting two psychos fight with real weapons might have been a bad idea for the school's PR.
The instructor has the audacity to tell Uriam she should have just knocked Sophia out with her superior skill. Uriam hits back with a savage roast, telling him to raise his daughter better next time.
Enter Professor Wyuan, the resident snake who tries to play peacemaker with a fake smile.
He tells everyone to calm down, but you can tell he is just trying to figure out how to manipulate the situation. Wei Yuan starts dropping some low-key threats, mentioning that Urium's violent behavior might reflect poorly on the Yu family. He is basically trying to bully a teenager into submission by using her family's name against her. The professor keeps pushing, asking if she would be upset if her family got harmed because of her actions.
This guy really thinks he is a mastermind, but he has no idea who is actually backing this girl up.
The atmosphere shifts instantly as GD walks into the room like he owns the place. He tells the professor to stop cornering a child who is already hurt and finally introduces himself as her guardian. GD's presence is so heavy that the entire room goes quiet. Even the arrogant instructors can feel that this nobody is actually a monster in a suit, and Urium finally looks like she can breathe again. We cut to a fancy tea session where Wei Yuan is serving high-grade oolong tea while sweating bullets internally. He is trying to scan GD's background, but the guy is a total ghost in the system. Wei Yuan is having a mini-crisis because GD walked through a high-level magic barrier like it was a wet paper towel. He has never heard of Haoshu, and that unknown factor is terrifying him. Mikhailov is sitting there looking all stoic while Sophia is in a hospital bed covered in bandages. The professor tries to play the let's all be friends card to avoid any more paperwork or lawsuits. The school wants to settle this quietly since they are all going to be seeing each other at the academy anyway. Wei Yuan is practically begging them to just shake hands and forget about the attempted murder. Mikhailov offers a half-baked apology, claiming Sophia is just young and immature. It is the classic "my kid is a good kid" excuse that every entitled parent uses when their brat gets caught being a psycho. GD shuts that down immediately, refusing to accept the apology. He points out that the parent's words mean nothing when the child was the one trying to commit a crime, and Mikhailov's ego takes a massive hit. The big guy tries to flex his status in the RIL organization, asking GD if he knows who he is messing with. GD just looks at him like he is a piece of gum on the bottom of his shoe, completely unimpressed. GD asks the most logical question ever: why didn't a pro like Mikhailov stop his daughter from charging at someone with a knife? If he is so skilled, he should have seen it coming a mile away. RMC goes for the jugular, calling Mikhailov an embarrassment to his profession for using his child's lack of control as an excuse. The big guy is so triggered he looks like he is about to pop a vein.
Mikhailov loses his cool and tries to intimidate GD, but he doesn't realize he is standing in front of a literal god.
GD just stares him down, waiting for the idiot to make a move. In a blink and you miss it moment, GD reveals he has already stolen Mikhailov's own dagger. The man didn't even feel it leave his sheath, proving the skill gap between them is wider than the Grand Canyon. GD mocks him one last time, telling him his sheath is too loose just like his parenting. He then drops a chilling warning, telling the expert to make sure he avoids dark, empty alleyways in the future. To drive the point home, GD stabs the dagger into the ground with enough force to shatter the tiles. It is a clear message: I could have killed you 5 times already, so stay in your lane. He casually walks out of the room, leaving the professor and Mikhailov trembling in their boots. Wei Yuan is left staring at the door, realizing he just invited a shark into his little goldfish pond. Outside, GD finds Urium waiting for him. She is all bandaged up and looking a bit subdued for once. He asks if she is okay, and she tries to play it off like the stab wound was just a scratch. Urium admits that she knows it is hard to kill people like her, but she still has a rare moment of doubt.
She asks GD if he thinks she was in the wrong for going so hard on Sophia. She is actually upset, wondering if she should have been the bigger person instead of trying to turn the girl into a crime scene.
It is the first time we see her actually care about the consequences of her rage.
GD gives her the most best dad advice ever. He tells her she did well. But then he adds a dark twist, saying that next time, she should just kill her enemies in a place where there are 0 witnesses. Urium's face lights up with a devious grin. She loves the brutal honesty and tells him not to regret saying that later. She is fully back to her chaotic self, and honestly, we are here for it. As they walk away together, it is clear that Haoshu is going to be the absolute nightmare of this academy.
If you thought this fight was wild, just wait until they actually start trying.
Our stoic protagonist GD is already tired of his chaotic life, telling his favorite red-headed problem child, Urium, to pack her bags because they are moving into the elite Lair Academy dorms. While little Gul is probably imagining a fairy tale, GD is busy dealing with the reality of guarding these dragon girls, but their walk is interrupted by a man who radiates massive suspicious energy. Enter Professor Yuen, the typical long-haired pretty boy who looks like he spends more on hair products than magic. He claims he wants to talk about Urium's future, but GD is already smelling a rat. Yuen tries to act all generous by offering Urium the position of freshman representative, promising she will be the literal face of the school. He is basically offering her a fast track to being an influencer. The professor starts listing the perks like a desperate salesman, mentioning artifacts, scholarships, and enough media fame to make a Kardashian jealous, but GD is not buying the sales pitch. The moment Yuen mentions being besties with Vice Principal Ma Namjoon, GD's danger sensors go into overdrive.
He realizes this guy is not just a teacher. He is a walking disaster.
GD's internal monologue confirms our fears as he identifies both Yuen and his buddy as demonic humans.
These guys are the ultimate red flags, having traded divine blessings for the edgy power of the void. These dark entities are basically fueled by blind rage and killing intent, making them the worst possible neighbors. They nearly ended the world once, so you know they are bad news. GD starts having flashbacks to his previous regressions, remembering how these demonic creeps took something precious from him. He is literally imagining killing Yuen in 1,000 different ways right now. Despite wanting to turn the professor into a stain on the floor, GD decides to wait. He wants this guy to die only after he has achieved something, making the eventual fall much more satisfying.
GD plays it cool and leaves the choice to Urium, reminding everyone that he is just her guardian and not her boss, though we all know who is really in charge here.
Yuen tries to use his charm to win her over, asking her to help him draw the future of the school. It is so cringe that you can almost feel the second-hand embarrassment through the screen. Urium delivers the most legendary rejection ever, simply saying she does not want to. The professor's face glitches out because he cannot fathom a student turning down his generosity. When asked why she even bothered showing up for the interview if she did not care, our savage queen admits she was just bored in bed and wanted an excuse to pick some fights.
Yuen is speechless as he realizes he is dealing with a girl who just wants to see the world burn.
He decides to play dirty, pointing toward a mob of reporters waiting to tear her reputation apart. The professor tries to blackmail her, claiming her entire life at the academy depends on how he frames the recent knife-fighting incident to the media.
He really thinks he has the upper hand here.
Urium just hits him with a casual bye-bye and walks away, leaving the professor looking like a total clown. She is clearly not afraid of a few cameras or a petty teacher.
The reporters swarm her like piranhas, screaming questions about her grudge against Sophia and whether she is using violence to boost her family's failing reputation.
They keep pushing for a statement, recording her every move and hoping for a viral moment.
GD tries to tell them to back off, but Urium has a much more explosive plan in mind.
When asked what her grand goal is at the Blue Dragon School, she decides to give them exactly what they want, a headline that will break the entire internet. She grabs the microphone with a devious smirk and yells out that she is only there for sex. The absolute silence that follows is deafening as the reporters probably forget how to breathe. We skip the immediate fallout to see the new Lair dorms, which are basically a cluster of luxury villas. Being a dragon guardian definitely comes with some top-tier real estate perks.
Little Gul is losing her mind over how huge the place is, while the sisters start scouting the area to see which one of them can claim the most territory in this new mansion.
A civil war almost breaks out as Gul and Urium race to find the best room.
Gul thinks she found the jackpot, but she forgot that her older sister is a professional bully.
The room is incredible, with a massive bed and a TV that probably costs more than a car. Gul is already planning her life here, but she is about to get a reality check. Urium claims the room for herself because the balcony is perfect for smoking. She pats Gul's head and calls her a good girl while stealing her dreams, which is peak sibling behavior. Later, we see Gul taking her mommy duties seriously, spraying the dragon egg with water. She claims it is prenatal education because blue dragons are basically thirsty lizards. GD watches this weird ritual while Gul explains that water dragons love moisture. It is cute until you remember that this egg is actually a powerful mythical being and not a houseplant. BOM shows up to ruin the peaceful vibes, revealing that Uriam's interview has gone viral. The comments are a mix of people being offended and others calling her a refreshing icon of chaos. BOM decides to have some fun and tells Gul it is time she learned about the birds and the bees. Her face turns into something out of a horror movie as she prepares to traumatize the poor girl.
Gul starts screaming for GD to save her from the education, but he just stands there like a statue while the house descends into pure madness.
Just another normal day for the dragon family. Imagine waking up to a beautiful morning only for your degenerate roommate to ruin the vibe immediately. Gul is on a mission to wake up the resident red flag, Uriam, and she is not taking no for an answer. Uriam is looking like a literal zombie because she stayed up all night, and honestly, the reason is absolutely scandalous. Gul is rushing up those stairs like her life depends on it because the house is about to get a new member. Uriam finally wakes up looking like she just crawled out of a dungeon, complaining about her lack of sleep. She is grumpy, tired, and definitely not in the mood for Gul's high-energy morning routine. When Gul asks what she was doing all night, Uriam drops a total bombshell. She spent the entire night watching adult content like a true degenerate. The look on Gul's face is pure, I did not need to know that. Gul tries to move past the trauma because there are more pressing matters, but Uriam is still being a menace. She threatens Gul's life if this news isn't actually important, but the whole squad is already gathered downstairs. The tension in the room is palpable as everyone stares at a single spot. Gul drops the big news that Joel, their blue dragon egg, is finally about to hatch. This is the moment we have all been waiting for, guys. The egg is trembling and cracking, sending shockwaves through the room. But for our MC GD, this isn't just a cute moment. Seeing the birth of a new life triggers a massive wave of PTSD from his previous hellish timelines. Suddenly, we are thrust into a dark, gritty flashback. GD remembers a time when life wasn't so beautiful.
He is back on a bloody battlefield, and a dying mother is desperately reaching out to him with a final, tragic request.
This is peak trauma, guys. The mother is begging him to save her child, but the reality is cold and cruel. The newborn isn't breathing, and the environment is a literal war zone. Life ending before it even starts is GD's biggest nightmare.
Back in the present, GD is still reeling from the dark memories, wondering why they are surfacing now. He looks at his family and realizes how different things are this time around.
The sisters are all huddled around the egg, waiting for the miracle. A tiny little claw pokes through, and then a head. Joel has officially joined the chat, and she is the most adorable thing you have ever seen. GD snaps out of his funk to help the little dragon emerge from her shell safely.
Everyone is losing their minds over how cute Joel is.
She is rubbing her eyes and looking around like, where am I and why are these weirdos staring at me? GD is being surprisingly gentle for a guy who usually dreams of murder. The sisters are actually impressed by how GD handles the hatchling. He looks like a seasoned pro, but he just brushes it off like it is common knowledge. He even offers to let BOM hold her, but he is staying low-key about his skills. Gul is practically vibrating with excitement. She finally gets to hold the tiny dragon and describes the experience as healing for her soul. It is a rare wholesome moment in this chaotic household, but don't worry, it won't last. Enter Uriam, the ultimate tsundere. She is sitting on the couch acting like she doesn't care at all, but we all know she is dying to touch the baby. Gul sees right through her and starts teasing her to give it a try. Uriam decides to be a total psycho and actually tosses the baby dragon toward GD. Like, girl, that is a newborn, not a football.
Joel is midair looking absolutely terrified while Uriam just wants to see GD panic.
GD doesn't even flinch. He catches Joel effortlessly with one hand, completely ruining Uriam's plan to see him lose his cool. He is just built different, and Uriam is left looking like a total clown for her reckless stunt.
Uriam admits her only goal since moving in was to see GD panic, but she failed miserably again. Gul is screaming because she thought the baby was a goner.
Honestly, Uriam is a top-tier menace and we love to hate it. Since Joel is already in his arms, BOM suggests GD should just pet her. He hesitates for a second but then gives in, and the scene is so precious it could melt a glacier. Even our cold MC can't resist the dragon baby charm.
BOM is the secret mastermind of the group, and she immediately pulls out a camera to capture this rare moment.
She knows GD being soft is a legendary tier event and she is not letting it go to waste. Photo time, everyone. BOM takes it a step further and puts a red rose on GD's head and a blue one on Joel. It is peak cringe but also peak wholesome. GD looks like he wants to die of embarrassment, but he is too tired to fight back. Yuriam is complaining that the whole setup is cringy, but she still joins the group for the photo. Deep down, these dragons are becoming a real family, even if they show it by throwing babies and watching adult videos. Look at that family photo. Joel is even getting her first bottle, looking like the pampered princess she is. But the celebration has to end because they have a serious problem to solve regarding Joel's future in the human world. BOM explains that Joel can't just walk around as a dragon. She needs to learn how to polymorph into a human, and she needs to learn it fast. BOM plans to use a magic transfer to speed up the process before the semester starts. This isn't some cheap trick, though. Magic transfer is high stakes because it literally eats away at the lifespan of the person doing the teaching.
BOM is willing to give up her own life force just so Joel can enjoy being a kid.
Dragons grow up way too fast, and BOM wants Joel to experience all the fun human things while she is still small. It is a heavy sacrifice, but BOM is determined to be the best big sister ever.
GD is just watching, probably thinking about the cost. GD offers to help if needed, but BOM has a very specific favor in mind.
She is acting all shy and innocent, but you can tell she is cooking something up. She wants GD to stay right by her side during the entire ritual. BOM is definitely playing the weak maiden card here. She tells GD to come closer and not be shy, claiming she might get tired and drop the baby. It is a total manipulation tactic, and GD is 100% seeing right through her. She starts fake sniffling, saying she would die of guilt if Joel hit her head on the table. GD is just staring at her like really, but he eventually gives in because he can't be bothered to argue with her logic. GD sits down on the couch right next to her, and the proximity is definitely making things awkward. BOM is smiling like she just won the lottery. She is a low-key genius when it comes to getting what she wants from RMC. BOM suddenly complains that the couch is hard, which is a total lie since it is full-grain leather. She is just trying to find any excuse to get closer to GD. The tension is rising, and even the baby dragon is confused by the vibes. Finally, the games end and the real work begins. BOM starts the mana flow, and the room is filled with a bright, magical glow. The intense process of teaching Joel her first human spell is underway, and things are about to get magical. A few days after that insane mana transference ceremony, and our girl BOM looks like she has been through a blender.
She is literally leaking mana and can barely stand, while Jatai just stands there like the cold-blooded MC he is, telling her she did a good job.
BOM tries to wobble her way to her room, reminding him to feed and burp the newborn Jewel, but her legs give out.
Before she can eat the floor, GD swoops in for a princess carry. Look at her face, she is turning redder than a tomato. She tries to play it cool with a joke about being heavy, but GD drops a rare sweet line, telling her she is light. It is a total critical hit on her heart. He tucks her into bed and leaves her to recover from the mana drain. Suddenly, the scene shifts and we see mana swirling around. Is GD in two places at once? We see a figure that looks exactly like him, but something feels off. This is where the plot thickens and the logic starts to break. The mysterious figure stares into the void. This is not just some random twin trope, it is something way more high level. The energy coming off this guy is pure final boss vibes, yet he is just chilling in a casual outfit. The team leader is flashing a corporate card like a total baller, offering a celebratory dinner, but our GD shuts it down immediately. He is leaving early, and the co-workers are already smelling a scandal, teasing him about a secret girlfriend.
He walks away while they scream about trust issues in the background.
But here is the kicker, the guy at the police station is actually a shadow clone. The shadow of the Grand Duke is currently pulling a double shift for the real GD. This skill is no joke. It belonged to the Grand Duke of the Demon World, a literal monster who used it to rule entire kingdoms from a distance. GD just casually killed him, took the skill, and now uses it to avoid office small talk. Absolute legend. The clone meets up with the real GD at a park. GD is sitting on a bench, looking like a tired stay-at-home dad. The clone bows and calls him my lord, which is a bit much for a public park, but we will roll with it. Check out Joel. The baby dragon has polymorphed into a human child and even got a fresh haircut.
She is sitting there looking precious, making everyone in the park think they are looking at the world's most perfect father-daughter duo.
The clone offers to hold the baby, but Joel gives it a look that could kill. GD explains that she can walk on her own and does not need to be coddled. This kid is barely a few days old and already has more attitude than most adults. The clone is confused as to why GD brought a baby to a secret meeting. GD is just exhausted, explaining that BOM is stuck in bed, Yoriam is a violent red flag who refused to babysit, and Gul is. Well, Gul. He had no choice. Now the clone starts having an existential crisis. It has all of GD's memories and emotions, and it is starting to question its mission. It was built for assassination and war, not for filling out police paperwork and dealing with annoying coworkers. We get a glimpse into the clone's past lives. Every other master used its power to slaughter enemies or expand their influence. But GD? He just wants to live a normal life and take care of a bunch of dragon girls. The clone literally cannot compute this. GD tells the clone to relax. There is a big mission coming soon, but for now, it needs to keep playing the role of a human cop. He even tells it to go grab drinks with the team because soon, they will all be gone anyway. That is some dark foreshadowing right there. As they walk, Joel spots a human kid getting a giant panda teddy bear from their mom. She stares at it with those big, sparkling eyes. Even a baby dragon can't resist the allure of a fluffy toy. GD notices her longing gaze and decides to step up. Instead of going to a toy store like a normal person, GD reaches into the shallowest part of the void. He literally rips a hole in spacetime just to pull out a rare blue teddy bear. Talk about over-engineering a gift. Joel is stunned. She takes the blue bear and stares at it like it is the most sacred relic in existence. GD asks if she likes it, but she is too overwhelmed to answer.
This is peak wholesome content before the inevitable tragedy hits.
Suddenly, Joel reaches up and presses her forehead against GD's hand. It is a deep, instinctual gesture of affection.
GD realizes that because of the ceremony, she thinks mana transference and physical contact are the only ways to show love.
We see flashes of the ritual and the heavy price paid. BOM is still drained, but the bond created is unbreakable.
GD looks at the baby and realizes he is no longer just a warrior. He is a guardian to a creature that does not understand the world yet.
The scene shifts to epic, fiery visuals of dragons and war. This is the world GD came from, a place of cogs and destiny. The contrast between this violent past and the quiet park is jarring, showing just how much GD is trying to change. The chapter closes with GD holding Joel as she clutches her void bear. He gives a small, rare smirk. He is playing a dangerous game trying to live a normal life with these dragons, but for a moment, the world is actually peaceful. GD is back from the shopping district and he brought a weapon of mass destruction, a human form Joel who is so adorable it should literally be illegal. Our boy is just trying to live a quiet life, but the sunset vibes are interrupted by Gul, who is basically a walking radar for hatchling emotions. Gul immediately tackles the little one, sensing that Joel is on cloud 9 because her guardian finally bought her a gift that was not a training manual.
GD is low-key shook that Gul can read the kid's mind like an open book, but she explains it is just a dragon thing called skinship. Apparently, dragons can relay every single spicy thought and deep feeling just by touching skin, especially when they do the whole forehead-to-forehead telepathy move. GD admits he did not know about this biological cheat code, which gets a giggle out of Gul because she thought he was some kind of omniscient god.
She reveals her new purchase, an acoustic guitar, claiming she wants to express her soul through music instead of having to touch people all the time.
But the moment Jitai looks at that instrument, he gets a horrific flash of a dark future where a bloody ghoul is surrounded by needles and empty bottles.
It is a total red flag moment that reminds us GD is not just a babysitter. He is a man carrying the weight of multiple failed timelines on his back.
Back in reality, he notices her fingers are already trashed from practice and tells her to chill out before she accidentally turns her hobby into a chore. Gul is a total overachiever who wants to give it her all, but GD shifts the topic to BOM, who is currently out for the count with a nasty fever. Poor BOM is basically suffering from a mana hangover after overworking herself to help Jul learn how to look like a human child. As for Yoriam, the fierce red dragon has officially retired from violence to become a shut-in drama addict, which GD honestly prefers over her burning down the neighborhood. The domestic bliss is cut short when GD eyes turn cold, sensing an ominous presence that definitely did not get an invite to the housewarming party. He drops the dad act and orders Gul to take the little one to her room and lock the door, his voice sounding like a threat from a final boss. Gul knows better than to argue when GD gets that look in his eyes, so she grabs Jul and makes a break for it while the atmosphere turns heavy. Suddenly, some high-tier armored cosplayers known as Guardians show up, acting like they are the main characters of a dark fantasy epic. These guys are essentially elite night slaves for dragons, and they are already accusing GD of doing something unspeakable to the green dragon. They reveal they have already put BOM under sleep magic, treating her like a victim of human subjugation because they clearly do not know who they are dealing with. In dragon culture, these guardians are just glorified bodyguards for hatchlings, but they have developed a massive ego since they left their lairs. GD tells them to introduce themselves before they start barking orders in his living room, but the lead Tinkin claims only the strong get to ask questions. The intruder calls GD a lowly human, completely ignoring the fact that the man just identified their high-level barrier magic like it was a cheap parlor trick. GD is bored of the drama and explains that BOM is just on bed rest because she worked too hard, but these guys are not interested in logic. The Guardians are visibly shaken when GD mentions they were supposed to be scattered in a distant dimension, information no mere mortal should ever possess. They identify themselves as the keepers of the history of causality, which is a very long way of saying they are interdimensional hall monitors with bad attitudes. Since they have the moral compass of a brick, they decide that executing GD right now is the only way to save the timeline from his inevitable chaos. They launch a full-scale assault on a man who has died and killed more times than they can count, and honestly, I almost feel bad for what is about to happen to them.